Have you noticed how confidence often seems to follow success? Never before. Never when you need it most. You want to speak up. You want to take action. You want confidence now. But your mind hesitates. You don't lack confidence. You've just been taught to look for it in the wrong place. In this video, I'll show you a simple mental shift that builds instant confidence. Even if you feel unsure, even if you feel nervous, even if you feel stuck. This isn't hype. This isn't fake positivity. This is how confidence actually works. The biggest confidence myth. Most people believe this one idea. Once I feel confident, then I'll act. It sounds logical, it sounds reasonable, and it sounds completely wrong. That belief alone keeps people stuck for years. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you said, I'll speak up when I feel more confident. I'll try when I feel ready. I'll go for it once the fear goes away. Now ask yourself this honestly. How often does that moment actually arrive? For most people, it doesn't. Because confidence doesn't show up first. Action does. This is where everything flips. You don't feel confident before your first big step. You don't feel confident before a hard conversation. You don't feel confident before walking into the unknown. If confidence were required first, no one would ever grow. So why do we keep waiting? Because we've been taught that confidence is a feeling you need to have before you move. But confidence is not a feeling you wait for. It's a result you earn. Let me ask you something. Did you feel confident the first time you tried something important, or did confidence come after you survived it? Think back to any moment you're proud of. Was confidence there at the start, or did it arrive later once you proved something to yourself? That's the part no one talks about. Confidence is built after you act, not before. Here's the real problem. Waiting for confidence feels safe. It feels responsible. It feels like you're being patient. But what it's really doing is training your brain to avoid action. Every time you wait, your mind learns, I only move when I feel comfortable. And comfort slowly becomes the limit of your life. That's a dangerous place to stay. Because growth never happens inside comfort. Now here's the shift you need to hear. The people you admire didn't feel confident first. They felt uncertain. They felt pressure. They felt doubt. And they acted anyway. Not because they were fearless, but because they decided waiting wasn't an option. Confidence didn't lead them forward, movement did. Ask yourself this question. What would change in your life if you stopped waiting to feel confident? What conversation would you finally have? What decision would you stop delaying? What version of you would finally show up? Confidence is not something you wake up with one day. It's something you build every time you choose action over hesitation. Every time you do the thing you said you would do. Every time you follow through when it's uncomfortable. Every time you prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. That's how confidence grows. Not loudly, not instantly, but permanently. Here's the truth most people never learn. You don't need confidence to start. You need a decision to move, a decision to try, a decision to show up imperfectly. Because the moment you act, something powerful happens. Your brain collects evidence that says, I can handle this. I didn't quit. I didn't fall apart. And that evidence becomes confidence. So stop waiting. Stop asking, do I feel confident enough? Start asking, am I willing to take one step? Because confidence is not something you find. Confidence is something you build, one decision at a time. The secret mental shift. Here's the shift that changes everything. Not gradually, not someday, now. Stop asking this question, how do I feel right now? That question sounds harmless. It sounds responsible, but it quietly keeps you stuck. Because feelings change constantly. One moment you feel ready, the next moment you hesitate. If your actions depend on your feelings, your life becomes unpredictable. Now ask a better question. What does this moment require from me? That single question creates instant clarity. It moves you out of your head and into the moment. It shifts your focus from emotion to responsibility. And that's where confidence begins. Let's be honest. Most people let their feelings decide their actions. If they feel confident, they move. If they feel unsure, they wait. If they feel uncomfortable, they pull back. Ask yourself this. How many opportunities have you delayed because you didn't feel ready? How many moments passed because you waited for the right emotion? That's not a weakness. That's conditioning. But here's the truth. Confidence fades when life becomes about how you feel. Confidence grows when life becomes about who you decide to be. Standards create stability. Feelings create hesitation. When you ask, what does this moment require from me? You step into leadership over yourself. Sometimes the moment requires courage. Sometimes it requires patience. Sometimes it requires honesty. Sometimes it requires showing up even when it's uncomfortable. Not because it feels good, but because it's right. That's a powerful shift. Let me ask you something important. If you stopped listening to every emotion, what would you do differently today? What conversation would you stop avoiding? What task would you finally complete? What version of you would step forward? This question cuts through fear, because fear lives in emotion. Clarity lives in purpose. When your focus moves to what needs to be done, your emotions fall in line behind your decision. Action gives your mind direction. Direction creates certainty. Certainty builds confidence. This is why confident people don't look calm all the time. They look grounded. They're not controlled by how they feel. They're guided by what matters. Think about it. When you're focused on doing what's required, you're not stuck analyzing yourself. You're not wondering how you look. You're not replaying thoughts in your head. You're engaged. Presence replaces doubt. And presence is powerful. Here's another question for you. What standard are you living by right now? The standard of comfort or the standard of growth? Because the moment you choose a higher standard, confidence starts to rise. Not because fear disappears, but because fear stops being in charge. When you focus on what needs to be done, your body responds. Your posture changes. Your voice steadies. Your actions become clearer. That's not luck. That's alignment. Confidence isn't something you force. It's something that follows direction. Every time you choose responsibility over emotion, you train self-trust. Every time you act in alignment with your values, your confidence strengthens, quietly, naturally, permanently. So the next time you feel unsure, pause. Don't ask how you feel. Ask this instead, what does this moment require from me? Then act. Not perfectly, not fearlessly, but intentionally. Because confidence doesn't come from feeling ready. Confidence follows action, and action begins with this shift. Why confident people act first. Confident people don't wait for certainty. They don't wait to feel ready. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait for every doubt to disappear. They decide. That's the difference. While most people are asking, am I ready for this? Confident people are asking something else. They ask, who do I choose to be right now? How would that person show up? What's the next step I can take? That decision changes everything, because confidence is not built by thinking, it's built by choosing. Let's pause for a moment. Think about the last time you hesitated. Was it because you didn't know what to do, or was it because you were afraid of doing it imperfectly? Most hesitation isn't about a lack of ability, it's about a lack of decision, and that's good news, because decisions are always within your control. Confident people understand this. They don't see confidence as something they have. They see it as something they practice, moment by moment, choice by choice. Confidence isn't loud. It doesn't need attention. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need approval. Confidence shows up, does the work, and moves forward. Confidence isn't perfect either. It doesn't mean you never doubt. It doesn't mean you never feel pressure. It doesn't mean you always get it right. Confidence is decisive. It says, I may not have all the answers, but I'll take the next step. That's real strength. Let me ask you something. How much of your life have you delayed waiting for certainty? How many moments passed because you wanted to be sure first? Certainty rarely comes before action. It comes after. Every time you act instead of hesitating, something powerful happens. Your brain records evidence. Evidence that says, I showed up. I handled it. I didn't quit. That evidence builds trust. Trust in your ability to respond. Trust in your ability to adapt. Trust in yourself. That's where real confidence comes from. But from knowing you can handle what comes next. Think about this. Confidence isn't knowing the outcome. Confidence is knowing you won't abandon yourself. That's a big shift. Ask yourself right now, who do I choose to be in this moment? Not when things are easy. Not when conditions are perfect. Right now. What would that version of you do next? Make the call? Speak up? Take the first step? You don't need to see the whole path. You only need to take one step forward. Because every decision strengthens identity. Every action reinforces belief. And every time you move, instead of freezing, your confidence grows quietly in the background. This is why confident people feel grounded. They're not chasing certainty. They're creating momentum. Momentum replaces doubt. Momentum builds clarity. Momentum builds confidence. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop asking if you're confident enough. Ask a better question. Am I willing to act like the person I want to become? Because the moment you do, your brain learns something powerful. I can trust myself. And that's real confidence. The fastest way to build confidence. Confidence drops when everything becomes about you. How you look, how you sound, what people think. The moment your attention turns inward, pressure rises. Your mind starts analyzing, comparing, judging. You replay your words before you speak. You question yourself after every move. You shrink without realizing it. Ask yourself this. How confident do you feel when you're stuck in your own head? Probably not very. That's because self-focus creates tension, and tension kills confidence. Now here's the shift that changes everything. Confidence rises when the focus moves outward, away from how you're being seen and toward how you're being useful. Instead of asking, do I sound confident? Ask a better question. How can I add value right now? That question instantly lowers pressure, because it's no longer about performing. It's about contributing. Think about it. When you're focused on helping, teaching, listening, or supporting, you're not worried about how you look. You're present. And presence is powerful. Let me ask you something important. When was the last time you felt confident without trying? Chances are it was when you were focused on something bigger than yourself. Maybe you were solving a problem. Maybe you were helping someone. Maybe you were fully engaged in what you were doing. You weren't thinking about confidence. You were in it. That's not an accident. Purpose removes pressure. The moment your attention shifts to contribution, your body relaxes, your voice steadies, your posture opens, your thoughts slow down. That's confidence showing up naturally. Not forced, not faked, but real. Now apply this to real life. In conversations, stop wondering if you're saying the right thing. Ask, how can I listen better? How can I be useful here? At work, stop worrying about being noticed. Ask, what problem can I help solve? What result can I move forward with today? In daily life, stop measuring yourself. Ask, how can I show up with purpose right now? Each time you ask that question, confidence grows quietly. Because contribution shifts your identity. You're no longer someone seeking approval. You become someone creating value. That's a powerful place to stand. Here's a key insight. Self-focus asks, am I enough? Contribution answers, I'm useful. And usefulness builds confidence fast. Let me challenge you with this. What would change if you stopped trying to impress and started trying to serve? What conversations would feel lighter? What situations would feel easier? What pressure would disappear? Confidence doesn't come from thinking more about yourself. It comes from thinking less about yourself and more about your impact. Every time you choose contribution over comparison, you strengthen self-trust. Every time you focus on purpose instead of perception, your confidence grows. Quietly, naturally, consistently. So the next time you feel self-conscious, pause. Don't ask how you look. Don't ask how you sound. Ask this instead. How can I add value right now? Because purpose removes pressure. And contribution builds confidence. The confidence loop. Confidence follows a simple loop. Action, proof, belief. Not someday, not magically, but step by step. Most people think confidence appears first. It doesn't. Confidence is built from evidence, and evidence only comes from action. That's where everything begins. Let's break this down. Action comes first. Not big action, not a perfect action, small action. The kind you can do even when you feel unsure. Sending the message, starting the task, showing up when it would be easier to avoid it. That action creates proof. Proof that says, I did it. I didn't quit. I can handle this. And your brain pays attention to proof. Your mind doesn't respond to motivation. It responds to evidence. Every small action leaves a mark. And those marks add up. That's how belief is formed. Belief isn't wishful thinking. Belief is memory. Memory of what you've already handled. Ask yourself this. What do you currently believe about yourself? Did that belief come from words, or did it come from repeated actions? Most beliefs are built through repetition, good or bad. That's why this loop matters. Action leads to proof. Proof builds belief. Belief fuels stronger action. And the loop keeps going. Here's where most people miss it. They wait for motivation. But motivation fades. They wait for confidence. But confidence comes later. What they really need is consistency. That's why small promises matter so much. Promises you make to yourself. Not dramatic ones, not public ones, simple ones. I'll do this today. I'll show up. I'll finish what I start. Every time you keep a promise, your confidence strengthens. Every time you break one, your self-trust weakens. That's not judgment. That's how the mind works. So let me ask you something important. How often do you keep your word to yourself? Not to others. To you. Because self-confidence is built in private. It grows when no one is watching. Show up. Follow through. Do what you said you would do. Even when it's uncomfortable. Even when it's boring. Even when no one notices. Especially then. That's where identity is built. Confidence isn't built by intensity, it's built by repetition. Small actions, done consistently, retrain your brain to trust you. And trust is everything. When you trust yourself, you stop overthinking. You stop second-guessing. You move faster. You speak more clearly. You stand firmer. Not because life got easier, but because you got steadier. Here's a powerful question. What's one small action you could repeat daily that would strengthen your self-trust? Not next year. Not someday. Today. Because confidence doesn't require huge wins. It requires follow-through. Every time you complete what you start, you send a message to your mind, I'm reliable. I can be counted on. I won't abandon myself. That message becomes belief. And belief fuels momentum. Momentum builds confidence, quietly, naturally, permanently. So stop chasing confidence. Build it. One action, one promise, one repeatable decision at a time. Because confidence is not a personality trait, it's a pattern. And self-trust comes from consistency, the confidence skill most people miss. Confidence isn't about always feeling strong. It's not about feeling calm. It's not about feeling fearless. It's not about having everything figured out. Real confidence shows up when things feel uncertain, when the outcome isn't clear, when the pressure is real, when there's no guarantee. That's when confidence matters most. Let me ask you something. Do you trust yourself only when life feels easy? Or do you trust yourself when things feel uncomfortable? Because confidence isn't built-in comfort. It's built in moments of uncertainty. Every challenge trains you, not because it's pleasant, but because it forces you to respond. Each time you face something difficult and don't back away, your confidence grows quietly. You prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. Every uncomfortable moment strengthens you, not instantly, not dramatically, but steadily. Discomfort stretches your capacity. It teaches you how to stay present when things aren't perfect. That's a skill, and skills are built through repetition. Let me challenge you with this. What uncomfortable moment are you avoiding right now? What decision are you delaying because you want certainty first? That delay isn't protecting you. It's keeping you from building self-trust. Every decision builds identity, not just big decisions, small ones too. The decision to speak up, the decision to show up, the decision to try again. Each choice sends a message to your mind. This is who I am. This is what I do under pressure. Over time, those messages become beliefs, and belief becomes confidence. Confidence isn't calm. Calm is nice. Calm is comfortable. But calm disappears under pressure. Confidence stays. Because confidence is not the absence of stress. It's the presence of trust. Trust that you can respond. Trust that you can adapt. Trust that you won't abandon yourself when things get hard. That's real strength. Think about the people you admire. Are they confident because life is easy for them? Or are they confident because they've faced difficulty and kept moving? Confidence comes from experience. Experience comes from pressure. Pressure builds capacity, and capacity builds confidence. Ask yourself this. If you trusted yourself more, what would you stop avoiding? What would you step into? What would you attempt, even without guarantees? Confidence doesn't mean you know the outcome. It means you trust your response. It means you trust your ability to learn, adjust, and continue. Every challenge is training. Every uncomfortable moment is preparation. Every decision shapes identity. So the next time things feel uncertain, pause. Don't ask, why do I feel this way? Ask a better question. Do I trust myself to handle this? Because confidence isn't about feeling strong. Confidence is self-trust under pressure, and that trust is built every time you choose to face what's in front of you. Final message for you. Confidence starts when you stop waiting for permission. You don't need approval. You don't need perfect timing. You don't need to feel ready. You decide who you are now. If this helps you, like the video, subscribe for more mindset content, and comment below. Where will you use this mental shift today? That decision is where confidence begins. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more upcoming motivational content.